The glittering landscape of modern television comedy is filled with stories of sudden stardom, massive financial windfalls, and the tightly controlled public images of its biggest celebrities. For over a decade, millions of viewers around the globe gathered around their screens every week to watch a group of socially awkward, brilliant scientists navigate the complex worlds of advanced physics and ordinary human relationships. The immense success of this particular sitcom did not just create a cultural phenomenon, it completely transformed the lives of its main cast members, elevating them from relatively unknown working actors into some of the highest-paid individuals in the history of the entertainment industry. When a television show achieves that level of unparalleled global notoriety, every single detail on the screen is meticulously managed by a team of visionary creators, producers, and network executives who understand that even the smallest visual cue can either reinforce or utterly destroy the carefully crafted illusion of the characters. Behind the bright studio lights, the infectious laugh tracks, and the iconic living room set, there was a constant, invisible effort to maintain a very specific aesthetic reality. One that often required the actors to suppress their actual physical realities in order to stay true to the beloved personas they portrayed. It is a fascinating dynamic of Hollywood production, where looking too conventional, or perhaps being in too good of physical condition, can actually become a significant obstacle to telling a believable story. Forcing creators to make highly unusual adjustments on the fly during a chaotic tape night in front of a live studio audience. As we dive deeper into the hidden archives and behind-the-scenes secrets of this legendary production, it becomes increasingly clear that what the audience ultimately saw on television was only a fraction of the complex decisions being made behind the camera. The actors who brought these brilliant yet socially isolated characters to life spent 12 years fully immersed in their roles, developing an incredibly deep understanding of how their characters should move, dress, and physically present themselves to the world. However, the ultimate authority on the narrative universe always remained with the series creators, who possessed an uncompromising vision of what these characters represented to the collective imagination of the public. This balance between the real lives of the performers and the fictional constraints of their characters frequently resulted in bizarre, unexpected moments on set that are only now, years after the final curtain call, beginning to come to light through the candid reflections of the cast. These modern-day revelations provide a unique window into the inner workings of elite television production, demonstrating how even the most minor creative choices are fiercely protected to preserve the integrity of a multi-billion-dollar franchise. If you are fascinated by these hidden Hollywood stories, the unexpected realities of your favorite television stars, and the secret mechanics that govern the entertainment world, please take a quick moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the untold histories of the media landscape. The fascinating intersection of an actor's personal life and their on-screen identity often creates an invisible tension that the audience rarely notices during a standard broadcast. In the demanding environment of a weekly multi-camera sitcom, actors must maintain absolute consistency in their performances, even as their own lives, habits, and physical appearances naturally evolve over the course of more than a decade. For one specific cast member, who entered the series as a young, aspiring actor looking for his big break, the journey through this massive sitcom was not just a career-defining milestone, but a profound masterclass in the realities of Hollywood storytelling. Playing a highly sensitive, brilliant astrophysicist who famously struggled to speak to women without the aid of alternative influences, this actor captured the hearts of millions with his nuanced, endearing portrayal of academic isolation and deep loyalty to his core group of friends. Yet, beneath the layers of colorful, meticulously chosen wardrobe pieces that defined his character's signature look, the actor was living a completely different reality as a successful, wealthy young man navigating the peak of his physical health and personal development. This contrast between a character who spent his nights looking through telescopes and playing video games, and an actor who was actively engaging with the physical demands of youth and health, eventually set the stage for an incredibly funny, telling confrontation on the Warner Brothers studio lot during the filming of one of the show's most memorable early seasons. To truly understand how such a minor moment could become a point of contention for the show's legendary creator, one must look at the broader context of how the series established its specific visual language. The premise of the show relied entirely on the stark contrast between the hyper-intellectual, highly unconventional lives of four young scientists and the more grounded, socially fluent world of their aspiring actor neighbor who lived just across the hall. Every element of the production, from the comic book posters on the walls to the slightly ill-fitting layered clothing worn by the male leads, was designed to signal to the audience that these men operated entirely outside the traditional standards of mainstream social culture and physical vanity. They were characters defined by their minds, their esoteric passions, and their mutual reliance on one another, rather than by any conventional Hollywood standard of physical fitness or outward perfection. Therefore, when an unexpected script development during the third season required several members of the cast to strip down for a specific comedic scenario, it inadvertently created a sudden clash between the carefully maintained illusion of the fictional universe and the actual peak physical condition of the actors themselves, leading to a swift intervention that remains a hilarious highlight in the cast's collective memory. The specific moment in question occurred during the filming of the 7th episode of the third season, an episode titled The Adhesive Duct Deficiency, which has since gone down in history as one of the absolute funniest and most highly rated installments of the entire 12-year run. The narrative structure of this particular episode split the main cast into two completely separate storylines, one involving a medical emergency back at the apartment building, and the other following three of the main guys on an adventurous camping trip in the desert. In this outdoor storyline, the characters traveled out to Joshua Tree to view a spectacular meteor shower, an activity entirely fitting for a group of passionate scientists. However, the plot took a wildly comedic turn when they accidentally ingested some highly unusual experimental baked goods given to them by two local hippies, leading to a state of complete uninhibited relaxation and deep, philosophical confusion around a late-night campfire. It was in this specific, highly altered state of mind that the characters began to lose all of their usual social anxieties, culminating in a scene where they were meant to be sitting around the fire, completely overwhelmed by an intense craving for food, devouring an entire brisket that had been meticulously prepared and packed for them by one of their mothers. When the scene was initially rehearsed and prepared for the actual taping in front of the live studio audience, the director and the writers had envisioned the characters stripped of their usual heavy academic layers, reacting to the intense heat of the desert night and the psychological effects of their accidental indulgence. As the cameras began to roll, Kunal Nayyar and his co-star Johnny Galecki, who played the beloved experimental physicist Leonard Hofstadter, removed their shirts as instructed by the original script, preparing to execute the physical comedy of the brisket-eating frenzy. However, almost immediately after the scene commenced, the show's legendary co-creator and executive producer, Chuck Lorre, who was watching the monitors closely from the production booth, suddenly yelled a loud and authoritative cut, bringing the entire multi-million-dollar production to an immediate screeching halt. Lorre, a towering figure in the television industry, known for his absolute precision when it comes to character consistency and comedic timing, immediately walked down from the darkness of the production area and onto the brightly lit set to address the two actors directly about a major visual problem that had just appeared on his high-definition screens. The issue was not a mistake in the dialogue, nor was it a problem with the camera angles or the lighting design. Rather, the problem was the surprising physical condition of the two actors themselves. Johnny Galecki had either just completed or was currently right in the middle of a highly demanding starring role on Broadway in the acclaimed stage play The Little Dog Laughed, a performance that required him to maintain an incredibly rigorous, lean, and athletic physique. At the exact same time, Kunal Nayyar, who was still a very young man in his late 20s with a naturally high metabolism, had been spending a significant amount of his personal time working out intensely in the gym, resulting in a physical appearance that was remarkably toned and muscular. When the two actors removed their shirts, they did not look like two socially isolated sedentary academics who spent all of their time sitting in laboratories, eating takeout food, and playing video games instead. They looked like two exceptionally fit, conventionally attractive Hollywood actors who possessed elite gym bodies. Chuck Lorre looked at his two stars standing by the prop campfire and delivered a direct, uncompromising piece of feedback that has remained burned into Kunal's memory ever since, instructing them to immediately put their shirts back on because the characters they were playing simply did not possess that kind of physical definition. Lorre pointed out that it would completely break the audience's suspension of disbelief to see Leonard and Raj looking like fitness models, as it went entirely against the established mythology of the characters as men who fundamentally neglected traditional physical fitness in favor of intellectual pursuits. While the note was a strict creative correction designed to protect the integrity of the sitcom's internal reality, both Kunal and Johnny couldn't help but find a massive hidden compliment within the instruction. With Kunal jokingly remembering thinking to himself that he must be absolutely ripped if the creator of the show considered his physique to be an existential threat to the believability of the script, the shirts were immediately put back on. The layers of nerdy clothing were restored, and the scene was successfully completed with the actors fully covered, ensuring that the secret physical fitness of the cast remained hidden from the millions of fans watching at home. Interestingly, Kunal Nayyar recently reflected on this bizarre incident during an appearance on the official Big Bang Theory podcast, noting the hilarious irony of how his physical portrayal evolved throughout the rest of the series. He quipped that while he was forced to cover up in Season 3 because he was deemed too hot for the character's narrative, the show's writers apparently lost all concern regarding his physical fitness in the later seasons, as he was subsequently required to take his shirt off at least 10 times in various future episodes without ever receiving that specific feedback again. He joked that according to the creative team, Raj must have only been inexplicably attractive during that one specific camping trip in Season 3, while his physical appearance in later years evidently fit the standard. Untoned expectations of a typical academic, this detailed look behind the curtain reveals the immense amount of thought, control, and absolute dedication to character development that goes into producing a globally successful television show, where even a hidden set of abdominal muscles can disrupt a carefully constructed fictional world. The incident serves as a testament to the sharp instincts of Chuck Lorre, whose strict enforcement of the show's visual rules helped ensure that the audience always viewed these characters as genuine, relatable underdogs rather than polished Hollywood celebrities. It highlights the unique sacrifices that actors must make when embodying characters who are vastly different from themselves, showing that sometimes the ultimate form of professional commitment in the entertainment industry is the willingness to hide your own hard work, your personal achievements, and your physical health to keep a beloved fictional universe completely intact for the fans who adore it. This delightful behind-the-scenes anecdote regarding the physical appearance of the cast offers a profound glimpse into the incredible journey of Kunal Nayyar, an individual whose life was completely reshaped by his time on this legendary production. Moving far beyond the humorous constraints of his fictional counterpart, the actor has utilized the phenomenal success and substantial financial security provided by his 12-year tenure on the sitcom to craft a real-life legacy defined by immense generosity, deep empathy, and quiet philanthropy. As a young man who arrived in the United States from India to pursue his academic dreams in business administration before discovering his true passion for the theatrical arts, Nayyar's ultimate ascent to the absolute pinnacle of Hollywood fame reads like a classic story of determination, talent, and incredible fortune. When the iconic sitcom concluded its historic run in 2019 after 279 unforgettable episodes, the cast members found themselves entering a new chapter of their lives. Endowed with massive global recognition and an estimated net worth that placed them among the most financially successful figures in the modern entertainment industry. With Nayyar's own net worth projected at an impressive $45 million, for many individuals, accumulating such vast wealth at a relatively early stage in life could easily lead to an existence characterized by excessive luxury, isolation, and constant self-indulgence within the elite circles of Southern California society. However, Kunal Nayyar and his accomplished wife, the former Miss India Neha Kapoor, have intentionally chosen a radically different path, viewing their enormous financial abundance not as a personal trophy to be hoarded, but as a profound grace from the universe that carries a deep moral responsibility to assist those facing severe adversity. In an extraordinarily candid and reflective interview granted to the British national newspaper The Eye Paper, the acclaimed 45-year-old actor opened up like never before about his deeply personal philosophy surrounding money, success, and the ultimate purpose of human life. He explained with striking humility that the true magnificence of wealth does not lie in the ability to acquire material possessions or maintain an opulent lifestyle, but rather in the profound sense of personal freedom it grants. particularly the magnificent capability to fundamentally alter the trajectory of human lives through targeted, compassionate giving. The sheer scope of the couple's philanthropic endeavors is remarkably broad, spanning several traditional areas of charitable support, including the establishment of extensive college scholarships designed to lift students from disadvantaged socioeconomic backgrounds out of poverty, as well as providing massive financial assistance to numerous animal welfare charities around the world. Yet beyond these structured institutional donations that are typical for high-profile celebrities, Kunal Nayyar revealed a highly unusual, deeply moving nightly routine that serves as the true emotional core of his charitable spirit. The actor confessed that one of his absolute favorite things to do late at night when the rest of Hollywood is asleep is to log onto the internet and quietly scroll through the crowdfunding platform GoFundMe. Operating entirely under the veil of complete anonymity without using his famous name or seeking any form of public recognition, the star deliberately searches for families who are facing devastating, insurmountable medical crises and completely wipes out their accumulated debts by paying off their medical bills in full. This extraordinary act of digital altruism has become a deeply personal mission for the beloved star, who jokingly refers to this secretive habit as his own version of being a masked vigilante on the internet, swooping in to rescue complete strangers from the brink of financial ruin without ever revealing his true identity. For Nayyar, the immense joy derived from knowing that a family somewhere in the world will wake up to find their crushing financial burdens miraculously lifted far outweighs any public applause or press coverage that a traditional charitable announcement might generate. It is a stunning, real-life parallel to the gentle, deeply caring nature of the character he portrayed for over a decade, proving that the actor possesses a heart that is just as expansive and empathetic as the brilliant astrophysicist who captured the imaginations of television viewers worldwide. By actively choosing to use his immense resources to directly alleviate human suffering in such a direct, personal manner, Nayyar has effectively redefined what it means to be a modern celebrity in the digital age, shifting the focus away from superficial vanity and toward genuine, impactful human connection. The fascinating journey of the entire cast, from their early days of navigating unusual wardrobe restrictions and strict character guidelines set by showrunners to their current positions as highly influential global citizens, underscores the profound, lasting impact of the series on popular culture. The show did not simply entertain millions of people with its sharp wit and endearing characters. It created a stable platform of unparalleled success that allowed its stars to mature into thoughtful, deeply compassionate individuals who are actively working to make the world a significantly better place. When we look back at the iconic scenes of the sitcom, such as that memorable third-season camping trip where the characters sat huddled around a fire in the desert, we can now appreciate those moments with a completely new level of understanding and respect. We now see that beneath the meticulously managed exterior of the socially awkward characters were exceptionally dedicated, physically fit, and intellectually mature actors who were willing to suppress their own personal realities to bring joy, laughter, and a sense of belonging to an audience of millions. As the years continue to pass since the final episode aired, the enduring legacy of the sitcom continues to grow, fueled not only by constant syndication and the loyalty of its global fan base, but also by the beautiful real-world actions of the people who brought those unforgettable characters to life. Kunal Nayyar's recent, illuminating revelations remind us all that the true measure of an individual's success is never found in the height of their fame, the size of their bank accounts, or the physical perfection of their bodies, but rather in the quiet, unpublicized kindness they extend to fellow human beings who are struggling through the darkest moments of their lives. It is a powerful, inspiring conclusion to a Hollywood story that began with a simple creative command to put a shirt back on during a routine comedy shoot, and ultimately evolved into a magnificent, lifelong mission of anonymous grace, global philanthropy, and genuine human love that will continue to positively impact the world for many generations to come.